Last time, Justin requested me on Patreon to review George A. Romero's classic zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead. So now he's asked me to take a look at Day of the Dead, the third film in the series. While the second movie, Dawn of the Dead, was set primarily in a shopping mall, this one takes us to an underground bunker as the zombie apocalypse has gotten even more serious, and we're left watching a few survivors figure out the next step in avoiding them. It's interesting that each movie jumps ahead a bit and logically focuses on new people dealing with new complications. So what did I think of the story presented here? First of all, the pacing of Day of the Dead is a little odd. Let me explain. I personally found the first and third quarters of the movie to be on the slow side, while the second and fourth sections had a lot of interesting ideas and visuals. Part of the reason for this might have to do with the characters, as with a few exceptions, none of them particularly stood out to me. A large chunk of the film consists of them sitting and standing around in this drab-looking underground base discussing what to do next, all while most of the zombies are outside. We don't see too much zombie action here, although that might also have to do with the budget constraints placed on Romero by the producers. He originally had much bigger, more ambitious plans for Day of the Dead, but he was required to pull back on those. Romero had worked well with a low budget before, but it would have been interesting to see him go larger. Compared to the farmhouse in Night of the Living Dead and the shopping center in Dawn of the Dead, I just don't find anything visually compelling about the location here. Those films also gave more screen time to the zombies doing their thing, while this one leaves a lot of them wandering off screen. The characters here are pretty standard, and their bickering was not all that compelling to me. One such character is the main villain, a crazed military captain who I found to be rather one-note. A lot of the movie goes for an obvious, maybe the real monsters are the humans theme, largely centered on him, but I don't think it explores it with quite as much depth as it should. I thought easily the best and most compelling character in the movie was the scientist Dr. Logan. His plan of trying to find the humanity in the zombies and looking for some sign of intelligence provides some of the highlights of the movie, and he gets a number of great scenes where he shows off what his experiments have done, mainly with a zombie named Bub. Bub also provides some solid moments, and I have to give credit to Sherman Howard, who played the role. Despite the character only having a few facial expressions, Howard is able to convey a lot of what he's thinking as he processes the various objects Dr. Logan places in front of him. He also gets the funniest part of the film, which becomes a great payoff from a scene early on. There's a kind of sweet friendship that blossoms between these two, and there's a strange sympathy for Bub as we see him develop a taste for things like music. Famed makeup artist and frequent Romero collaborator Tom Savini did an exceptional job of bringing these zombies to life and showing their evolution over the years. The zombies have gone from mostly just having dark circles around the eyes in the first film to turning completely gray in the second to now becoming a lot more monster-like in Day of the Dead. A lot of makeup effects like the trademark zombie neck bites and arm ripping are also done to gruesome effect. Even as my interest went up and down, the film certainly delivers when the zombies finally get the chance to do their thing. It's an absolutely bonkers sequence showing how each person reacts to this horde storming in and the chaos that stems from their actions. This does provide some commentary with these macho military men thinking they're well prepared with their guns and training, and yet are still thrown for a loop. There are enough moments where it's uncertain who will end up surviving to the end, and the climax gives us a lot of wild imagery. It feels like the entire film is building up to this, and that Romero decided this was where most of the budget was going to go to. While I did criticize a fair amount about Day of the Dead, as you can see, there are also a number of things I appreciated. Like I said, I just feel the pacing, location, and some of the characters let it down at points. While the zombies chasing after and chomping on people are obviously some of the most important elements of these types of films, they still need great characters to develop some interest in. They don't even necessarily have to be likable characters, just ones where their journey through this ordeal is an intriguing one. And Day of the Dead only gave me a couple of those, with ironically one of them being a zombie. Still, I won't deny the movie has its moments. If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for the request, Justin.